Hey everyone, how's it going? For this video, let's talk about toy crane machines. Ever since I was little, I always wanted to own a crane machine that I can have in my house, but considering that they are very expensive and usually there's not enough space to have a full-size crane machine in the home, the next best thing is pretty much just to get one of those toy miniature ones. The interesting thing is that when I first started doing YouTube a little bit more actively, a friend of mine actually gifted me with a toy crane machine and they were able to customize it to fit the theme of my channel, which is pretty much with that little rhino icon that I have for my little image there. So, with that being said, this is a Moj Moj Crane Machine. This particular toy came out sometime in 2018. So if you're trying to find it now, it's actually a little bit difficult, especially if you're going to be looking online. The weird thing is that if you look at it in Walmart, it's going to be $140, and on Amazon, it's listed for $472. Now that's a lot of money. As you may notice, mine looks a little bit different than the ones that you can find online, since this one is actually version 2. And during the research of making this video, I couldn't find a store or big seller to buy it brand new. Although, you could buy it secondhand if you were going to be looking on something like eBay. Well, that begs the question, is it worth it to buy? And I'll leave that up to you as we talk about the features of this particular toy. The machine takes 4 AA batteries, and when you are ready to play, there's a switch to turn it on. There's no real way to open the machine without taking it apart, so the entry points for the prizes are either through this tiny hole in the back or through the prize chute. The toy originally came with these little eggs that kind of resembled gachapon capsules, but my friend who gave me this toy actually wanted to keep them. So for the purposes of this review, I'll go ahead and use these transformers instead. In order to start a game, you'll push this button with a little triangle on it. The controls are really simple. The directional pad on the far left maneuvers the claw all around the machine. And it does it pretty slowly, so here's a real-time view of what that looks like. The middle control brings the claw down and up to catch the prizes. There's no automatic feature here. Everything is manual. You're basically in control of the entire thing. You pretty much are able to just keep on trying to win something until the time runs out, which usually lasts for a little over 1 minute. So in this way, it doesn't really resemble the arcade experience. The fact that everything is really manual for it kind of defeats the purpose of that. The music on the machine is pretty interesting. It's only a 1 5-second track that repeats endlessly until about the 45-second mark, and once it hits that point, it speeds up to indicate that you're running out of time. The thing is that the music starts the moment you press the start button, and it doesn't end until you actually win something or the time runs out. I just gotta say, I'm not a big fan of the music. Let's go ahead and take a listen really quick. In addition to the music, the machine also makes a lot of noise when you're moving the claw around, and the main issue that this toy has is the fact that there's no volume control. So if you are playing it, be prepared to have a lot of noise happening at the same time. And really, that's kind of the biggest downfall for this particular thing. Though, now that you heard about this one, I do want to introduce you to another miniature toy crane machine from Takara Tomy in Japan. Now, you may be wondering why I have 2 of these, but to be honest, I just thought it'd be great to have 2 of them. They just look really good together, don't they? You know, just side by side. If one was there by itself, it'd be pretty lonely. But do keep in mind that even though I do have 2 of these, just know that these are actually the same exact toy, they just have 2 different themes with them. But thinking about their cost, each of these go for about 5,000 to 8,000 yen in Japan, which is about $40 to $60 USD. Considering I'm in some place in the US, that means that with shipping costs, you're looking at about maybe $80 to $100 in total, which puts these around the same price as the Moj Moj Claw Machine. I do want to point one thing out for the Pokemon collectors out there. The Pokemon Crane Machine is actually built to be compatible with the Mon-Cole Pokemon figures. Who knew? Alright, so let's go ahead and open these up and let's go ahead and check out how they are. When you first open the box, you are given the machine, a few cutouts, stickers, plastic coins, and the figures that they come with. For the Sumiko Garashi one, you get one copy of all the Sumikos, and then for the Pokemon one, they came with Pikachu and Charizard. Since this one only came with 2 figures, I fooled myself into buying 3 more figures just to make sure this looked great on display. So I ended up getting the Mongol, Venusaur, Blastoise, and Eevee to complete the group of Kanto starters. Even though I know I didn't have to, you gotta admit that it does look better if you have a complete set, right? Right? Putting the stickers on the machine were pretty simple. Just follow the instructions given on the back of the box. Then, to set everything else up, unwrap the claw, punch out all the inserts, separate the coins from the build sheet, and you should be ready to go once it's all complete. The interesting thing is that the inserts also include these little stands with characters on them. If you wanted to add more stuff in the prize area, these stands can be included in the prizes as well. The contents of these are exactly the same, but if you look at them individually, you'll notice that there's going to be some slight differences in the design. The main things we're going to be looking at are the coins and the character stands. The Pokemon coins have this design that makes them resemble Pokeballs, while the Sumikos are just flat plastic. Even on the character stands, there are multiple images on both sides of the Pokemon one, whereas the Sumikos have the same image on both sides. One thing to also note is that the Sumiko figures have this rubbery texture that almost resembles a pencil eraser. You remember those triangle-shaped erasers we used to put on pencils, right? And the Mongol Pokemon figures just have this nice matte finish, but I do have the fear that if I'm too rough with them, their paint might chip off. Just remember to be careful with these figures while you're handling them, and you should probably be okay. The machine takes 3 AA batteries, and the on switch actually has 2 different settings. For the first setting, you have free plays. In free plays, you can play continuously until you decide to turn the machine off. And the second setting is coin play, which basically makes it feel like you're in an arcade, because in order to make a play, you have to insert a coin here in this slot. The cool thing about the coin feature is that when you turn it on, it actually talks to you. So let's go ahead and take a listen.
Please insert a coin.
This is probably my favorite feature for this toy, and I was thinking about potentially using this as a bank, but I don't want to risk putting real coins in there for fear of breaking the machine. To load prizes, you have this big window in the back that can actually fit a medium-sized adult hand, which is pretty neat. And once you put all the prizes in there, you should be pretty much set to go. Let's go ahead and check out the main feature of this game, the actual play. The way this machine functions is absolutely fantastic because everything is automatic and basically functions similarly to a Japanese UFO catcher. You only have 2 buttons, one that goes to the right and one that goes towards the back of the machine. And just like the arcades, you can only move them once in each direction. And I can't gush over this thing even more, like it's exactly what I was looking for. Because I got the Moj Moj machine first, I thought it was so lacking, but when I was doing more research and I found this machine, it satisfied all the things that I was looking for. Like the Moj Moj machine, once a play is initiated, music will start playing, but the main difference is that the songs that you're listening to here are a lot more tolerable. For the Sumiko one, it has this cute song, and I'm not exactly sure where it originates from, maybe it's the theme of the Sumikos, but it has this boing sound in the middle of it that constantly goes, and I'm not exactly sure what that is, but it kind of breaks the song up a little bit too much. Let's go ahead and take a listen. And the one that is most aesthetically pleasing is the Pokemon one because it's simply just the Pokemon Center theme, and it sounds a lot better than the other songs that we've listened to in this video. And that's pretty much all that you need to know. The only thing is that there are a couple flaws to the Takara Tomy one. Because once you win a prize, there's no indication like the Moj Moj machine that you won with that little lever and the gold sound. It just kind of stops. The music just kind of ends the moment the game is over. And then the other thing too is that this machine also doesn't have a volume control either. So once you start a game, it's gonna be pretty loud. But overall, if we're going to be comparing the novelty status of both of these toys, I would highly suggest that you get the Takara Tomy model just because it does a better job at emulating what the arcade is going to feel like. So what do you think? For me, I think that now that I have these machines in my house, I probably need to try to find a way to probably go on eBay and buy one of those $500 miniature machines.